Okay, so I was just starting to tell you about the gene activators and how it changed my life. I was introduced to it about 7 years ago. A professional athlete was told by his doctor, you need to start taking this because if you ever get an injury, you'll recuperate a lot quicker. So I checked into it, and the first thing I saw about it was ABC Primetime Investigative Report with John Quinones. John Quinones is not an actor, he's a real investigator who his job is to look into things that he thinks might be bogus and investigate and expose them on the air. So John Quinones said he didn't think that this claim sounded legit because the company said we reduce oxidative stress 40% in 30 days in every single living human and mammal tested. And nothing else in the world before this was scientifically proven to do that. So John Quinones took his blood work before and started taking the gene activators. And he repeated his blood work in just 2 weeks. He didn't wait the full 30 days. And his own level dropped more than the 40% in half the time. So that's how I knew like this is legit because he's trying to disprove it and he proved it worked. Now I'll tell you a little bit more about it. They are herbs in certain proportions taken together in capsules and tablets. Now I could say, as the nurse practitioner, I went to PubMed and I looked at the studies and I was very impressed. Normally an herbal blend does not have one study on the government website on the finished product. Maybe they have studies on the individual ingredient. So I saw about 7 studies there, some of them in humans on the finished product, not done nor funded by the manufacturer was key. So I started taking it. And although we can't make claims to diagnose, cure, treat, mitigate any disease with an herbal blend because our lovely FDA, my nerve pain went away. And then my friend Anthony was super excited after watching ABC. He wanted to start it. He didn't know that my nerve pain went away yet because it hadn't gone away yet. He started it. And then, I'm sorry, when he started it, he borrowed my bottle. I ran out, my nerve pain came back. And then I got another bottle and I took it again. My nerve pain went away. And I asked him, I said, hey, Anthony, with your diabetes, did you have nerve pain? He goes, I did, but it's so much better now. So that's how I know it's not a placebo effect. It's not just me. Anthony didn't know about my nerve pain going away. I didn't tell him ahead of time that his nerve pain was going to go away. And again, I'm not claiming to diagnose, cure, treat, and mitigate any disease with a nerve. But that was the first story of it. And then same with my husband. We ran out during that week. He's like, why does my back hurt me again? And that was the first thing that we looked at. And now there is over 100 studies, probably a lot more than that, on PubMed Central on the finished product. And I'll explain it to you like this. We have different highways. We have blood vessels, right? Like highways in our body. And we have different highways in our body that different genes work on now. And they're almost like those blood vessels. They're throughout every organ and every inch of our body. We have these genetic highways, if you will. They're also like light switches where you can turn on a switch and turn it off. And over the years, our body gets bombarded and it doesn't make what it used to. It's sick and tired of toxins. It's not detoxifying. It's not taking out the garbage. And it's not producing what it used to. Women stop making their hormones, men stop making testosterone. A lot of us stop making thyroid hormone. So our bodies weren't meant to live this long. And same with our genes, the good defenses our bodies produce are not being produced as much as we should. So there are ways now we can turn on these genetic switches and these genetic highways and stimulate them to start producing the good defenses they used to. So again, these highways and these switches are different genes work on, and we can actually turn on that light switch so that that gene starts making that good defense again. And there's different genes we can do this with to create different effects. Now, so the company said basically that this product did not start off as a product. It started off with the scientist, Dr. Joe McCord. He actually discovered that our bodies make a super potent antioxidant called SOD, superoxide dismutase. Before him, nobody knew we made super potent antioxidants. And some of these super potent antioxidants are 8 million times more potent than an antioxidant you take by mouth, like vitamin C's or blueberries. When you take antioxidants by mouth, they're often synthetic. They have to go past your stomach acids. You have to absorb them, and you often just don't absorb them. But The antioxidants we make endogenously, anything you make endogenously, you don't have to worry about absorption, rejection, it being synthetic. And literally, the antioxidants we make are 1 million times more potent than an antioxidant you can take by mouth. Now, antioxidants are like this. Here's a bad antioxidant, right? Here's a free radicals in the environment create oxidative stress, right? Free radicals from planes, trains, automobiles, pollution, microwaves, radiation from going through the body scanner at the airport, flying on a plane, getting a mammography, a CAT scan, getting a nuclear stress test, okay? That creates free radicals, and these free radicals can accumulate in our organs. They're called oxidative stress, right? Cellular inflammation, and they're not good. They're what cause a rusting on an engine of a car or an apple to brown. So we need antioxidants to fight the oxidative stress. So antioxidants like blueberries, vitamin C's, and antioxidants we make like glutathione, SOD, superoxide dismutase. Now, when we have an antioxidant, we have a free radical, right? This is a bad free radical. And here's a good antioxidant. One antioxidant that we take by mouth, like a vitamin C or blueberry, one antioxidant molecule can only fight and neutralize one bad free radical. One antioxidant neutralizes and gets rid of one free radical. That's when you take them. But when you make them, our antioxidants endogenously are so super potent. One of those can neutralize up to 1 million free radicals. Not 1 to 1, 1 to 1 million. So it is so much more potent to make an antioxidant than take. So when we activate these genetic highways, we can actually rev up these good defenses. Now you see this Dr. Joe, he discovered we make this super potent antioxidant, SOD, and superoxide dismutase. And then they went on to research further, and he said, okay, now I'm going to ad lib a little bit for the storytelling part, but all the facts are true. Now, what causes diseases and disorders? Free radicals creating oxidative stress, cellular inflammation. That's not good. Well, what genetic highway is responsible to rev up that production? Oh, superoxide dismutase and glutathione are made when you activate the NRF2 pathway, the genetic pathway. Whoa, so now we know antioxidants are good. They fight the free radicals that cause disease and disorder. And the NRF2 gene, if we can activate that gene, we can rev up production of those super potent antioxidants like glutathione and SOD. So how can we rev up that gene? So he tried something like 285 different herbal blends to see which one would stimulate and activate that NRF2 pathway. And the blend that activated it the most revved up production of glutathione and SOD significantly. I think it raised glutathione like 200%. Well, don't quote me on that one, but it was significant. And it revved up SOD significantly. And it's a blend of 5 different herbs and 1 caplet. So it's not bad tasting things or anything like that. Now, they also studied these 5 herbs in different, so they know other herbs didn't do it. Technically, black pepper activates your NRF2 pathway, but you need pounds of it at a time, okay? So somebody sprinkles black pepper and they say they have an NRF2, they don't. Now, so this, when you activate your NRF2 gene, you're revving up your body's own glutathione, which is so super potent, more so when you rev up endogenous production than exogenous, trying to take a synthetic form of glutathione. Or some people drink that liquid glutathione. Some people get the IV, right? If you go for an IV glutathione once a month, inject IV, that's giving you a high dose once a month, and that's it. Now, just so you know, they did a study with people that had Parkinson's and they were tremoring, and they gave them IV glutathione. It stopped their tremors almost immediately, but it only lasted like 2 minutes. So the IV glutathione effects are, if you get it once a month, it's only lasting a few minutes. It's not worth it. Where with this, I take this caplet every day. It's revving up my glutathione every day, cyclic. So I have it throughout the 30 days without any needles causing infection or other things, and without the expense of the doctors and the needles going through the plastic tubing that we're trying to stay away from. And there is a glutathione liquid that you can drink. But again, it's synthetic. It doesn't taste good. It's expensive to ship because it's a lot of liquid you have to drink, and it causes a lot of GI upset. So this is a caplet with 5 herbs in exact proportions. They did studies. If you're already on 4 of these herbs and you just add the 5th herb, it does not activate the genetic highway. It has to be these 5 in this exact proportion taken simultaneously that activate the genetic highway. I've given it to people of all ages, all circumstances. The only thing I've given it to people with all different medications, if they're going through chemo, radiation, diabetes, blood thinners, it does not matter. The only person I tell to check with their doctor is if they have an organ donated to them, because they might reject anything. So some of those people, organ recipients, are on it and some aren't. It's up to their doctor. And of course, we use safety with pregnancy and breastfeeding. Other than that, everything's fair game. So I think that answered a lot of questions. Can I take it if I'm this med, this med, this med? If you're on any of the 5 herbs that are in here, we recommend stopping the other one because it might counteract and not let this work as good. Or if you insist on taking, say, extra turmeric, space it out a few hours. If you're on a supplement that has it in there and you're like, I don't want to stop the other thing. So basically this NRF2 gene activator is a caplet with 5 herbs that activate the NRF2 highway to rev up your body's endogenous production of glutathione and SOD that reduced oxidative stress in 30 days in every single living human and mammal tested, validated and backed by additional testing. And now, like I said, there's over 100 studies on PubMed on the exact finished product done by outside third parties, not sponsored or funded by the company. Erin Brockovich is on the board of this company, which I think says a lot. I don't know if you know who she is. She's a big activist. Now then, so that helped me tremendously. Then the company came out with the second gene activator. They said basically, hey, what else causes diseases, dis-ease and disorder, right? And what gene is responsible and how can we activate that gene? So they started noticing that, let me see which one it came out second. I think it was the NRF1 or the NAD. Well, I don't remember the order, but they discovered 2 other gene activators they can do. So they said, hey, they said, what causes dis-ease and disorder? Oh, our mitochondria in our cells, when they malfunction and they get destroyed, that causes a lot of dis-ease and disorder. So what genetic highway is responsible that if we stimulate and activate it, we can rev up production to make more mitochondria required for the cells to live. So they discovered it was the NRF1 pathway, genetic highway. When they activate it and stimulate it, it makes your body produce more mitochondria that are required for the cells to live. They're those little energy stations in the cells that produce ATP, cellular energy. And when the last one in the cell dies, the cell has to die because it has no more energy. So it's required for the cells to live. So again, they experimented with different herbs and they said, hey, which herbal blend can activate the NRF1 gene to make our body create more mitochondria? So they came up with a herbal blend of 5 herbs and 2 little caplets that activate the NRF1 to make your body create more mitochondria required for the cells to live. And that is so super important for people that had the Rona and that had this, because those are meant to attack the mitochondria. And people didn't realize this, and if they do, they're going to get this from me because I've been saying this for a few years now. The virus and the vax are made to go into the mitochondria of the cells and make as many copies as they can. And when they can't make any more copies, they destroyed the cell. They say, got no more use for you. And they go over to the next cell and they do this again and again and again. And both, if you were sick from the illness or the protection, they're both meant to mimic that. And I know why a lot of people are having cardiac issues since the pandemic, because out of all the organs in your body, which organ has the most number of mitochondria? The heart. And probably because the heart needs the most mitochondria because it requires the most energy because it's beating 24/7 and never gets to rest. So I believe the heart needs the most energy because it's beating 24/7. That's why it has the most mitochondria. And that's why people that have this, it's affecting their heart because it's destroying their mitochondria. What if they can activate their NRF1 gene to have their own body make more mitochondria for the cells to live? Just saying. And I have helped a lot of people recover since then, and part of it was with activating their genes. Now, since I was on the NRF1, my hot flashes went away. And I started that because a friend said, hey, you got hot flashes? Here's what I use. And it helped me. And my hot flashes began. Then the company said, well, let's dig deeper. What else causes dis-ease and disorder? oh, toxins accumulate, right? Toxins accumulate, causing toxicity. How can we get rid of this toxicity? I say it's like this. Sometimes our men in real life get sick and tired of taking out all the garbage, right? There's just too much garbage all the time. Our bodies are the same way. We're sick and tired of taking out so much garbage from all these toxins all the time. So it stores up in our body and it causes toxicity. And when it stores up, we can't absorb nutrients because we have so much toxins. Now, so they said, what genetic highway is responsible? Well, we noticed that the sirtuins in our body, they're like little Pac-Men. They gobble up autophagy and microphage, the garbage, and detoxify the cells. Over the years, our sirtuins, our garbage men in our body, get sick and tired of taking out all the garbage, and our bodies weren't meant to live this long. So they stop, they're not that active and they're not taking out the garbage. So the company discovered, and these scientists, that the NAD pathway is responsible when they activate and stimulate the NAD pathway. They can actually wake up those little lazy sirtuins to take out the garbage and detoxify the cells. And there's 3 different activators that work on 3 different genes to produce 3 different outcomes. And again, they once they realized it was the NAD pathway, they experimented with different herbs and they put 405 in 2 capsules that really can activate the NAD pathway to make your body produce more sirtuins. And after I started that one, I was like a happy Energizer bunny all the time, and my joint pain was gone. I can claim it was that, but nothing else in the world. My jaw is still dislocated. Nothing else in the world helped me with that pain, not even the highest amount of pain pills. Okay. But my joint pain is gone. Look, I had something called trigeminal neuralgia with my dislocated jaw. I couldn't touch my face or my hair. And look, okay, I'm chewing gum and steak. So I can't claim it's that. I'm not saying it's that. I'm just saying. But so I activate 3 different genes, 3 different ways. And if people ask me, which one should I be on? In my opinion, every adult should be on all 3. It's like this. Well, you want to just reduce inflammation and not get rid of the toxins? You want to get rid of the toxins and not reduce inflammation? Do you want to get rid of the toxins and not, I don't know, make more mitochondria? Why wouldn't you want to do all 3? So you need to activate the NRF2 pathway to rev up production of your own endogenous superoxide dismutase and glutathione, which are super potent antioxidants, to reduce that oxidative stress, aka inflammation. And that oxidative stress is linked to over 100 different diseases and disorders, including 9 of the top 10 leading causes of death. Why wouldn't you want to reduce that? So I started this not because of my symptoms. I have family history of cancer, diabetes, heart disease. So I started it to be proactive to, okay, well, those are all linked to oxidative stress. Why wouldn't I want to reduce that? I think it would better my odds of keeping those diseases and disorders away longer. It's not going to guarantee I don't get them. But do I think it's going to better my odds of keeping them away or keeping them away a lot longer? Yes. So I activate my NRF2 gene to reduce my oxidative stress, 40% on average. I activate my NRF1 gene to make more mitochondria for the cells to live, because they're required for the cells to live, and they give us energy, cellular energy. We don't work good when we know when we're low on energy, right? Or your computer's low on energy, or your car's low on energy. It won't even start. So we need the energy. And then I also activate the NAD pathway because I want to get rid of the toxins before I become toxic, and so I can absorb more nutrients. And NAD that you ingest by mouth is not the same as you activating your NAD pathway to wake up those lazy sirtuins and take out the garbage. So for that reason, I take all 3. I open 1 daily packet. I pop all 3, and I am great. I've never gotten a side effect, an interaction, unless you count less pain, more energy, happier. Now fast forward, I have no more symptoms and I'm pain-free, and I take no medications. And this was a big part. It's not the only part that I did, but it is a big part. And it totally rocked my world and changed my life. And anybody I know that said, oh, let me try to, I don't know, save a few bucks and see how I do without them, they're back on them. They're like, oh my God, it was such a difference. So people don't realize how worse they were until they decide to stop it. And then they're like, oh, hell no, not again. And for me, hell no, not again. I'm one of those people. So I love it. There's no real contraindications. The only reason I would tell you not to take it, well, to check with your doctors if you had an organ donated to you, if you were pregnant or breastfeeding. Everyone else, I've given it to people with all different medications, all different illnesses. But reach out to, if you're listening to this, reach out to your licensed healthcare professional, because I'm not giving you medical advice right here, right now, because I don't know everyone's unique situation. I don't know your allergies. I don't know your situation and what you're on, but it rocked my world. It changed my life. And it's a big part, especially for autoimmune warriors, especially for medical mysteries, especially if you're trying all the meds and you're still not better, you're not feeling better, or even if you're on the meds and you just still feel crappy. I have never given this to someone where they got a side effect or an interaction or said, I feel worse and I'm stopping it. Okay, like if you have a lot of inflammation and you start all 30 together, you might feel yucky for a couple days because you're detoxifying. So sometimes I start you, like someone like you, I would start on one at a time. And then a couple weeks later, add the other one, a couple weeks later, add the other one. Um, over time, I've noticed people being able to reduce a lot of their meds, come off a lot of them, if not all of them, because now their blood pressure is better, their cholesterol is better, their thyroid's better, that they're not needing as much or high of a dose as they used to. And I'm just trying to think FAQs. It's made in the US, it's all herbs, it's natural, it ships right to your house. It's stricter guidelines than the FDA. Their pro athletes take it because there's no banned substances in there and it doesn't break into the 100+ banned substance components that they're checked for. I take it daily. There's no needles, no IVs, no injections. Um, I think that's all she wrote. Do you have any questions
That's
about it?
awesome.
Woohoo. Oh, and I will send you the ABC Primetime Investigative Report clip to watch where you can see that. And another FAQ question is, you might see in there, he did blood work before. Nobody has to do blood work before. What happens is the blood work was to prove every single person in the test and all the studies did the blood work before. Their markers dropped significantly. It's an expensive test. It's not covered by insurance, and you have to be at the national lab because if they fly your blood across the nation, it changes how much, the values of it. So I never did that specific blood test before. If you want to do blood work before, I would go in with the individual person. I would recommend inflammatory markers, the ESR, the homocysteine, and the C-reactive protein, but it's not necessary, especially if it's not covered by your insurance.
Makes sense.
Do you have any questions about the activators?
Not yet.
Yeah. I'm going to stop this recording now so we can go back to our conversation.
Sounds good.
Okay.